Rabbi Gerber, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
There. Is that better? Good. Well, welcome everybody to our Zoom Seder.
I'm hungry. Can we eat yet?
No, Mr. Phil, we can't eat yet. We don't eat until later in the Seder.
But can't we just move things around a bit?
Mr. Phil, Seder means order. We can't just skip around.
Oh, whatever.
Mr. Phil, I brought my own snack.
Jordan, on Passover, we don't eat bread or bread products. We remember how the Hebrews had to leave Egypt in such a hurry they couldn't let their bread rise. So we don't eat anything other than matzah or unleavened food.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Okay, so does everyone have their Seder plates? First things first, we have beitzah, which is our hard-boiled egg.
Wait, it's supposed to be hard-boiled? Oops. Yikes.
Our egg represents the circle of life and the renewal that comes in springtime.
But I thought that's what the parsley represents.
Good job, Wendy. Yes, the egg and the parsley both represent springtime and renewal.
Ugh, I could do without the vegetables then.
Next, we have our
Oh my, what is this purple stuff? I thought it was mushed raspberries. Blech.
Oi, gesund, Jordan. That's
Oi.
just the maror. It's supposed to be bitter. It reminds us of the bitterness of slavery that our ancestors experienced in Egypt. Now, the zeroa, the shank bone, reminds us of the ancient Passover sacrifice of the lamb.
All I could find was my dog's bone. Does that work?
Sure. Does everybody have 4 cups of grape juice?
Yeah, we were supposed to drink all 4 at once, right? Oh my God, Seder is amazing. I love Seder. This is the best.
Oy, okay. Well, Rabbi Lexi, you just sleep it off, okay? Well, it's time for the Magid. It's time for the telling of our Passover story. So, once upon a time, back in ancient Egypt, there was a man called Pharaoh, and Pharaoh had all these servants and slaves, and these people wanted to be free, but Pharaoh did not want them to be free. He made them work harder and harder. And then a young man was born named Moses. He floated down a river. He was found by the Egyptians and he was raised up in the Egyptian's house. There's actually been some movies made about this, many of them. So perhaps maybe we'll turn on the movie screen here. Now Moses grew up, realized who he was, and he escaped into the desert. And while he was tending his sheep, he happened to come across a burning bush. Now this bush was burning, and Moses looked and it wasn't catching on fire. And then the burning bush talked to Moses and said, "Go to Pharaoh and say to Pharaoh, 'Let my people go.'" So Moses marched all the way back to Egypt. And he said to the Pharaoh, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh, in his meanest face, said, "I will not let your people go." So Moses had to return with plagues, with things that made life in Egypt miserable, with frogs, with hail, with darkness, with boils. And finally, Pharaoh said, "Enough." He turned into a pirate and said, "Enough. I can't take these plagues anymore. You and your people may go free." And the Israelites left Egypt and they wanted to bring all these fancy things. People thought they should do like, "Hey, let's bring all the jewelry we can. Let's bring our tiaras and our crowns." But Pharaoh said, Moses said, "There's no time for that. just grab the bread, even if it doesn't have time to rise, and we'll all escape with our lives. And because of that, we still eat matzah to this day, the bread that hasn't risen, and we celebrate that we finally got our freedom from Egypt. The end of the Passover story, even though we still kind of live it out today by doing a Passover Seder, which is what we are doing right now. Wasn't that a nice story?
So can we eat now?
Almost. First, we have to ask the 4 questions. It's tradition to have the youngest member at the Seder to read these 4 questions. So without further ado, I'm proud to present my good friends, Addie Cohen and Valerie Green, to deliver the 4 questions.
That was the best rendition of the 4 questions I've ever heard. What do you think, Rabbi Gerber?
Fantastic, beautifully done. Some of the best 4 questions I've ever heard. And with that, it is now time for the Shulchan Aruch, our meal. We get to eat our matzah balls, our brisket, our chocolate macaroons. Everybody enjoy. And together we say, L'shana
Shana haba
Yerushalayim b'yachad. Next year, may we be together in Jerusalem.
Gaia.
And not on Zoom.